Welcome back to Simply Southern. Now that it's fall, you might not be thinking about gardening, but really, this is a perfect time to start gardening. And to tell us why, we have Mallory Kelley with Alabama Extension. Mallory, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, so what is it that makes fall such a great time to start gardening?
There are so many reasons to get out in your garden. You are probably worn out with the heat of July, August, and it is time to get out there, freshen up our garden, get it prepared for winter. But there are some wonderful things that you can plant that'll really reap your reward throughout the winter, but also into the spring.
Yeah, and some of those trees, shrubs, this is the time to be thinking about planting those?
The fall is the perfect time to go out and buy new trees, shrubs to put in your landscape, because the top of the plant's going to go dormant. It's going to drop its leaves. It's going to really go to sleep above ground, but below ground so much is happening. The roots are getting established, they're taking up water, they're getting the energy they need, so in the spring they're not so stressed when they're trying to maybe flower and send out leaves all at the same time.
Yeah, and now another important thing is mulch around those plants to keep some of that water that we're getting, the increased precipitation throughout fall and winter.
Right, so mulch any time of the year, no matter what, keep the mulch around your plants. But September, October, November are the driest months of the year. So if you're not dragging the water hose out there, even if you are, put mulch, even in your containers. So if you've got mums you're planting this fall, or if you are planting those trees and shrubs, even the container, you can put mulch in and that will keep them from drying out and not having to water near as often.
All right, great tip there. And I do want to mention this just because we love watching hummingbirds, but often we take our hummingbird feeders down. You say we don't have to do that.
No, if you keep them up through the winter, you can actually get winter hummingbirds that migrate to our area. The only way you would see them is if you have a hummingbird feeder up. So keep those up and see what you get in your landscape.
All right.
It's really fun to watch.
Wonderful. But just for our bird watching friends, we had to mention that, but let's get back into growing things because we're thinking gardening.
Yeah.
So greens are perfect this time.
Greens are amazing through the winter. Our normally mild winters, we can really extend our growing season and be thinking about things like broccoli and collards and kale and spinach, lettuces. They do amazing as our temperatures start to cool off. And so by seed, we would say September, by September you'll want those to be coming up out of the ground. Really hard to plant by seed unless it's something like mustard greens. Otherwise, I recommend go out and get the transplant because again, it's so hot, so dry, September and October. Keeping that ground evenly moist is so difficult to get the seeds to germinate. So go ahead, buy your transplants and then mulch them. Make sure you put the mulch around them, keep that moisture in so they don't, get stressed by the environment.
And then another great tool to have is this mesh netting over your garden.
So especially if you have a raised bed, but even in the ground, you can use these super cheap, easy to find online, these little like tent pegs that come together. You make little arches, stick them in the ground, make an arch over your plants, and this little netting you use, and you just really create a little tent. And then the moths at night can't come in and lay their eggs, and the larvae hatch out, and that's what's feeding on our leafy greens. And most all of our fall crops are leafy type vegetables. They don't need pollination, where our tomatoes and our squash and our cucumbers and things like that have to have pollination. We can't use this, in all our crops, but those that don't need pollination and we're eating the leafy greens, put a net over the top and really 3/4 of your problems are gonna go away. And so highly recommend, easy to find, easy to use.
All right, and we are almost out of time, but just real quick, not time to fertilize, but time to take care of some of those pests.
Yes, so there's diatomaceous earth. It'll control a wide variety of plants, and it's organic, insects. It is organic, but also dipel. This is one just for larvae. So if you're not gonna put on a mesh netting, you would wanna keep this out there. It's a bacteria that's a gut poison only to worms. So it'll control them that way, but you have to keep it out there for when the worms are small, right when they hatch out.
All right, well, Mallory, thank you so much. We always learn a whole lot from you when you're here. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And now, if your fall garden includes collard greens, we have the perfect recipe for you. Up next, Stacy Little of Southern Bite has his collard green soup with ham and beans, so stay tuned.
what we eat, what we wear. It all starts somewhere. And if it's good, it usually starts with a farmer. And that somewhere is right here in Alabama. In a field, in a barn, on a tractor. Right now, there's a farmer starting something good for all of us. And it all starts right here in Alabama.
Get discounts on national brands and at local businesses with your Alpha Farmers membership. Members save hundreds with Ford, John Deere, Case IH, and Caterpillar. Plus, enjoy special rates at Choice and Wyndham Hotels. Benefits include rewards at Office Depot, Priester's Pecans, tourism destinations, and more. Download the Alpha Perks app, visit alphafarmers.org/perks, or stop by your local Alpha office and start saving today.
For more Simply Southern, follow us on social media. And while you're online, visit our website, simplysouthern.tv.net. Simply Southern continues in a moment.
Buying from local farms has turned healthy eating into an adventure for the kids.
Beef tastes even better when you know the farmers who raise it. I love a good steak, and it's nice knowing that our local ranchers are helping our environment.
I do like a little honey in my tea. Keeping my money in the local economy by buying from Alabama farmers makes it taste even sweeter.
Bring the farm to your home. Discover what's growing near you at sweetgrownalabama.org.